Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing some spring decorating around the house and we're going to be doing a spring porch makeover, and we're also going to be doing some gardening. I have some seeds that I started a few weeks ago and now the seedlings are really big, so I have to transplant them, and I'll also be starting some new seeds from scratch. So if you want to see how I decorate my porch for spring, as well as how I transplant and start out my new seeds, keep on watching. And don't forget, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Now, let's get into the video. So we're starting off with our spring porch makeover, and whether it's in a pot or in a hanging basket like I'm doing, you have to have some flowers set out on your porch. So I'm doing hanging baskets, and I have some pansies here that I picked up from root cellar. So I'm going to go ahead and plant those. As you can see, as I started planting, I found a walnut, an entire walnut actually, that probably a squirrel hid up in there sometime over the winter. Kind of weird. We find nuts all around our garden all the time, like full walnuts and full peanuts. But I've never found a walnut or a peanut in a hanging basket before, so I thought that was pretty funny and pretty interesting. So I'm going ahead and planting the pansies in the pot, and I'm using a purple one, a yellow one, and a light blue purple one. And now I'm just going in and packing in some soil around the roots so that the plants can grow properly. And I'm using Miracle-Gro for this. I normally don't use Miracle-Gro or any sort of soil that has like chemicals and like additives into it. I like to stick to more organic sort of soils, but that's all the store had during these quarantine times, so that's what I got. And I'm not going to be eating these pansies at all. They're just simply for decoration and to make the porch look nice, so I don't feel that bad using the Miracle-Gro for this. But I wouldn't put it out into my regular garden beds though. Just a tip, when you're planting anything that's coming out of a plastic container, it's always a good idea to sort of go ahead and break up the root ball of the plants just so that it can kind of spread out in the pot and grow properly. So that's always a great tip. Whether you're doing a hanging basket or planting it directly into the ground, it's always ideal. And now I'm just going to go ahead and give the hanging baskets a little bit of water. You always want to water your plants obviously after you plant them, so just a light little sprinkle will do. And I'm just going to let them drain on the ground here for a bit before I hang them up. And there we have it, a beautiful, festive, and colorful spring hanging basket that'll look great on your porch this season. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess. I'm going to sweep down the entire porch. I normally try and sweep down the porch at least once every season just so that we can get all the dust off, because it really gets super dusty in our area. And I'm going to go ahead and even, move the mat, do the full deep clean of the front porch. Now that's all clean, I'm just going to place the mat back down, and I believe we got this mat last year at Home Depot. And I'm also going to set out these beautiful lanterns, and I got these at HomeSense last year as well, and they were on sale for $15 each, and I just popped a battery operated candle in each of those. And now to decorate the door, I'm putting on this beautiful wreath. I actually got the materials to make this at Michael's, and I just bought a simple green garland from there and took it home and wrapped it around a metal coat hanger that I formed into a circle, and then just attached a nice striped black and white ribbon to it. And I think this looks beautiful, super fresh, super vibrant, and really modern, so I think it's really perfect for spring and even into summer. Now for a little bit of indoor spring decor, and I think one of the ways to best bring spring inside is to actually bring in some beautiful flowers or buds like I have here. And for this arrangement, I'm using these beautiful plum tree blossoms that we got from our backyard, and I'm just going ahead and placing a little bit of plant food in a tall vase full of water, and I'm just going to go ahead and clip each of the branches to the right heights and arrange them in the vase. And of course you can do this with any cherry blossoms or any tulips, daffodils, any seasonal flower will work great, but I thought that these beautiful plum tree blossoms looked amazing. So that is how my arrangement turned out, and I love it so much. And as you can see, this little guy likes our blossoms as well, and I thought that this was just too cute to not share. However, I suspect that he was the one who hid the walnut in our front planter. But now that we're outside, let's get into doing some planting. So a few weeks ago, I went ahead and started some seeds from scratch, and as you can see, they got really big, and when they get to the size, they need to be transplanted. So I'm just going ahead and transplanting them into their own separate pots, and I'm doing my tomatoes. I did cherry tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, red tomatoes, as well as some Asian vegetables like choy sum, gailan, and kale. If you missed my last gardening video where I started these seeds and also explained how we're going to plan out our garden for this year, definitely head over and watch that. I will leave that linked in the description box below. Now I'm just going to go ahead and give our plants a little bit of water and wait for them to grow some more. And if you're starting your seeds out a little bit later this year, stick around. I have a really great tip to show you how to grow your seeds fast. And just as I was ready to start planting my new seeds, our neighborhood cat Maud showed up. So I know you guys love her, and here's a quick little clip of her in our garden. Now moving on to planting additional seeds. So I have a variety of seeds. Here we have some basil. This is Genovese basil, the traditional Italian one. The basil that I planted a few weeks ago didn't grow, so I'm gonna try this one out. Now I have some Taiwanese eggplants. These I've never grown before, but I wanted to try them out and see how that goes. I also have some jalapeno and Philius blue peppers, and I'm a little bit late on these, but I'm going to see if my trick to growing seeds fast will work for them. And I am also planting some green zebra tomatoes, tomatillos as well, and those I'm actually on time for, which I'm really happy about. And then I'm also going to plant this seed disc with 5 different varieties of tomatoes in it, and I'm just going to do that in a separate planter. And that is all my seeds. Now let's get to planting. Okay, so when I'm planting, I like to use these little Jiffy Pod seeds, and they start off super small and compressed, and then you just add some water and they rehydrate into something like this. And these are completely sterile soil, so you can plant your seeds in there and know that it's like actually your seed growing. It's not good to use like soil from your garden or stuff like that, because there can be seeds mixed in there and it can outcompete the actual seeds that you're trying to grow. So like using these, and if you don't have that, you can also buy these little like plastic trays and just fill them with just sterilized soil from like a fresh like garden bag. So that's the alternative. But I have these, so I'm going to try and use these, and if I run out of space, I'll be using these. Sorry for that random voiceover, but I forgot I filmed that and it made sense because I was in it. So there you go. But now back to the voiceover. I'm just planting my seeds, and I normally do 2 or 3 seeds per pellet, just because, you know, if some of them are dead or don't actually grow, you know, you might have a better chance growing multiple seeds per pellet than as opposed to just one. And I'm just going in and massaging the soil just to cover the seeds just by 1/4 inch or whatever it says on your package, depending on your plant. And I'm just repeating this for all of the seeds. Now I'm just planting my seed disc of tomatoes. As you can see, it's just a couple seeds between 2 pieces of paper, and I'm just placing that down in the soil and covering it up with some more soil just by 1/4 inch, and then just giving it a little pat and a water. Then I'm just placing my seeds in the greenhouse, but if you don't have a greenhouse or a really warm spot, here's a great trick to get your seeds to grow fast. And sorry again, here's some audio of me explaining how to grow the seeds. So a great way to get your plants to grow quicker than normal is to pop them in an area that gets a decent amount of sun. You can see that we have lots of light coming in this window here, and you have to rotate the trays every once in a while just so the plants will straighten up and they're not all leaning towards the light. But we put them on top of our ironing board as like a shelf, but also because it's over this heating vent, and we've opened the vent and we let the heat come up in through here, and it heats the bottom of the ironing board, so it kind of acts like a heat pad underneath, so it helps the seeds germinate a little bit faster. So that's a good tip. If you have an ironing board or like a small table, put them in front of a nice bright window and above the heating vent. So that should work out pretty well for you guys. So this works really well for both seeds that you start in trays, so like these bok choy we've started and they're really small still. Same thing for the cilantro over here. So they're great to get started over, the heating grate. And then also when you have to transplant them into larger containers, it also works great as well. So
hopefully that'll work for you guys if you started your plants a little bit late. It's worked pretty well for us, so hopefully it works for you guys too.
And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed my little spring porch makeover, as well as how to bring the outdoors in. Also, I hope you enjoyed my tips and tricks on how to plant seeds and how to get them to grow quickly if you are a little behind this year. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!